Vice President Kamala Harris now supports a border wall. She backs a plan to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Trump's marquee border wall. This was a project that Harris once described this way.
Let me be very clear, I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them. Folks have plenty enough problems that they need their president to focus on, instead of a wall that, by the way, because I was a prosecutor for many years, including the Attorney General of California, I specialize on transnational criminal organizations. Yeah. That wall ain't going to stop them.
No. You don't need to build a wall. This is a crisis of his own making. And by definition, just plain speak, basic English language definition, it is not an emergency. We are not facing a crisis. And a wall won't cure that. And a wall won't cure that.
A few moments later.
But if you take a look at that ad, and one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favor the border wall?
Kamala Harris has repeatedly said she would shut down Donald Trump's border wall project. Now that she is the Democratic presidential nominee, though, Harris has vowed to sign a bill that would allocate hundreds of millions of dollars to continue building a wall along the southern border. This is the same project she once opposed and called un-American during the Trump administration. This is the latest example of Harris flip-flopping on her past liberal positions, such as supporting Medicare for all and banning fracking proposals that aides say she now is against. Materials for Trump's wall sit in decay in border states ever since the construction came to a screeching halt when President Joe Biden and Vice President Harris took office in 2021. The flip-flop came during her speech at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago last week, where the vice president said on Thursday she would sign the bipartisan border security bill. Senator James Lankford stated, "It requires the Trump border wall. It is in the bill itself that it sets the standards that were set during the Trump administration. Here's where it will be built. Here's how it has to be built. The height, the type, everything during the Trump construction." Lankford's office estimated the legislation would spend $650 million on a wall, down from the $18 billion Trump requested in 2018. The bill also included provisions with more money for asylum lawyers and judges for the overloaded immigration system. It also gave the president the authority to shut down the border if more than an average of 5,000 migrants crossed per day. Lankford reports that Harris wasn't involved in the months-long negotiations and that they never saw any vice president staff, including Harris. Trump's campaign responded to the latest reporting on Harris's walkback on border policies by claiming she has never been for securing the country against illegal immigration. The Trump campaign reports that as a senator, Harris tried to block President Trump's construction of the border wall, and as border czar, Kamala Harris halted construction of the border wall. Trump's campaign reports that if Kamala Harris sat down for an interview, she could explain her views on the border wall, but until then, they can only look to her record of supporting open borders. Trump aides also called the report false and asked how much longer will the mainstream media allow Kamala Harris to hide and use staff to speak on her behalf. Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, stated, "It's day 37 of 0 interviews, and Kamala's anonymous campaign sources are now claiming she supports President Trump's border wall. This is a preposterous and false claim. Kamala's record proves she is pro-open border." Before her speech last week, Harris has on several different occasions slammed the border wall initiative. When Harris declared her presidential primary candidacy in 2019, she called Trump's wall a medieval vanity project. She insisted that it would not work to stop drug and human smugglers working for gangs from entering the U.S. In February 2020, she wrote on Facebook, "Trump's border wall is a complete waste of taxpayer money and won't make us any safer." She also said while running for president the first time, "An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal," and repeatedly showed support for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. Harris signaled in 2020 that she was in favor of offering migrants and illegal immigrants free health care, which would significantly burden the U.S. healthcare system with higher costs. She also attacked the wall project in April 2017, right after becoming a U.S. Senator, by claiming it was a stupid use of money. Harris stated, "I will block any funding for it." Harris also appears to be upping her border hawk rhetoric in a TV ad that has been running for weeks and features images of the border wall. Trump supporters have recently caught on to the imagery and are all over social media slamming the VP for using the former president's project in an effort to appear like she is addressing the border crisis. Beyond embracing the bipartisan bill, Harris's campaign has portrayed her as an immigration hardliner in ads. One Harris TV ad frames her time as California's Attorney General as that of a border state prosecutor and includes images of the border wall. In another, Harris's team highlights her support of boosting the number of Border Patrol agents. Most of Trump campaign ads have attacked Harris for the Biden administration's struggle to deal with waves of migrants crossing the border. Like the wall itself, Harris's changes on border policy reflect how Trump has shifted the political debate on immigration during the past decade. Harris first copied Trump with not taxing tips, and now she's mimicking him with the border wall. I think that it's hilarious how much of a flip-flopper Harris has become just to appease voters. I guarantee that if Harris is elected into office, she will absolutely not follow through with continuing to build this border wall or address our immigration crisis in any form. She is saying whatever she needs to say in order to get votes, and then, God forbid, the moment she gets into office, she will continue her radical agenda.